Good morning, everybody. This is Sandra N. Peoples from SandraNPeoples.com. I am a publishing consultant and coach for self-published authors. Today, I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about the 4 components to building an author platform. And I actually have some notes here that I want to look at today. And the reason why I want to talk about the author platform is because it is very important. I like to stress the importance of marketing your book because there are a lot of people out here who teach you how to self-publish a book. They show you the process of, everything you need to go through to publish your own book. But not a lot of people are really telling you how to market your book. They're just saying you need to market your book, but they're not really telling you how. So, I wanted to tell you about the author platform. And, this is something that you really need to start thinking about if you're going to be serious about, building your career as an author. So the author platform, it focuses on who you are as the author and how many people you influence, is what you represent, is what comes to mind when people hear your name. It's a very important, it's like it has 4 legs in a way to the platform. So it's 4 components to that. I always say that authors should think of themselves kind of as a celebrity because really you are. You've written a book. It takes a lot of work and effort to write a book. So you really should applaud yourself for that. And you really should, start to think of yourself as something important. A lot of authors out here are just like, not even really thinking much about the fact that they've written and published a book. That is a big thing. And you have to get excited about that. If you want people to get excited and go buy the book, you have to be excited about the fact that you wrote it your own self. So, you don't get famous overnight. No celebrity gets famous overnight, but you can be a celebrity in your own town. You can be a celebrity in, amongst just your readers. But you need to start really thinking about yourself as your favorite celebrity does because you're famous. You've written a book. Just think about that. Okay. So in order, you can't have a following without having a presence. People have to come to know you as an author. And in order to do that, they have to encounter your brand, in order to get to you. Now, a brand, I'm going to talk about a brand in some of the other videos that I'm going to do. But a brand is not just the colors on, the colors that you use on your website and the fonts that you use and all that stuff. A brand is a complete experience. It's way more than just some colors and letters and stuff. So I'm going to talk to you guys about that in some other videos because I hear a lot of misinformation about that too. People just saying, oh, your brand, you got to focus on your colors and fonts. No, it's more than that. So I'm going to tell you guys about that in some later videos. So many new authors and even some established authors, tend to believe that the only thing you need to focus on is writing a book. When as an author, yes, you have to write books, but you also have to think about how you're going to get in front of the people who matter the most to your career, which is your reader. So, without readers, you don't have a career as an author. And I think a lot of authors don't understand that either. It's important that you get in front of the people who are going to buy your book. So there are 4 components to building your platform as an author. The first thing you need to think about, hey, Danny, the first thing you need to think about is your presence. How will people find you if they don't even know that you exist in the first place? You have to spend time doing things that's going to get you in front of your ideal audience. I always talk to you about that, knowing your ideal audience. It's very surprising to me how many people don't know who their ideal reader is, or even in business, they don't know. Even in business, they don't know who their ideal person is. Who are they talking to? And, it's important that you know who that person is because if you don't, then it's going to hurt you with your marketing. Like, even if you write fiction, it's not enough to just say, I write fiction. It's not enough to just say, I write romance. Well, what kind of romance do you write? There's historical romance. There's urban romance. There's contemporary romance. So what kind of romance do you write? If you write horror. What kind of horror do you write? If you write suspense, there's romance suspense. So it's like you have to know specifically who you're talking to and who you're trying to get your message in front of. So, having a presence open doors for opportunities for you that you might have never imagined. Like, on Twitter, sometimes I get on Twitter and I talk a lot about, business and books and marketing, because those are the three areas that I focus on when I talk or when I blog or something like that, because that's where I have most of my knowledge in: marketing, publishing, and business. So when I get on, and I used to get on Twitter a lot during the Shark Tank, when it used to come on Fridays, and I would tweet at Damon John. And so one day he responded back to my tweet. I was like, oh. And so then after that, people started following me because he responded to my tweet. And then after that, I noticed that he was promoting his brand a lot on Shark Tank. So I saw some of his stuff in the store, and I took a picture and I tweeted it at him. And he was like, oh, Sandra Peoples from Michigan just tweeted my picture, and he retweeted it, and then I got more followers. And then after that, people want to know, well, what do you do and all that stuff. So had I not been on, online at that time and actually interacting with him, then those people would have never found me. So you have to build your presence. Social media makes it easy for you to build a presence online, but you can't just focus on online, because your readers and your audience might not even be online. Your people might be offline, So you can't forget about the people who don't use the internet. Like, if your audience, you might have an older audience of people, and some of them don't like the internet. They still think it's evil. So if that's your audience, you got to figure out how to get in front of those people. So don't forget about offline. There's magazines that your audience might be in, magazines. So it's all about knowing, where your audience is. And that way you can build your presence by getting in front of them. The second component to an author platform is relationships. And this has to do with the people who can help further your reach and exposure as an author. It's the bloggers, it's the radio show hosts, the newspaper people, the magazines, all these other forms of media that's out there, excuse me. And whatever connections you're building with these people, they can help get you in front of the people who can one day, become your fans and supporters. So the relationships you build determine how big you can play, in the world. So I had made a lot of connections with, my local newspapers, with the newspapers, with the television stations and all those places, because I knew that those people would be important towards, helping me to get more exposure in my career as an author. But one of the things that I learned very early on, and this will help you when it comes to doing trying to get publicity for your books, you can't just write your local newspaper and say, yeah, I wrote a book, because they're going to say, okay, what else do you do? What's exciting about you writing a book? So I had to tie my books into stuff that was going on in the world. One of the books that I wrote, it dealt with domestic violence. So I tied my promotions into Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I was able to get, media exposure and all that stuff from, knowing when to put my press release out. So don't just send your local newspaper a press release and say you wrote a book. You have to give them something to go on, something that's newsworthy. Because if you don't give them something newsworthy, they're going to be like, well, okay, anybody can write a book these days. So what's special about you, what's important about you? You need to make sure that you write that stuff down so you know how to pitch yourself. Okay, so I talked about your presence and I talked about relationships. The third thing you have to think about is your tribe. You have to become the person your reader wants and needs to meet. You have to make your readers fall in love with you. And, you have to become the person that your reader wants to connect with. Authors are like their readers' best friends in their head. That's why when they meet you in public or something like that, they're so excited to meet you. And you might be thinking, oh, they want to meet me, but you are somebody special to them. That's why I said you guys need to get excited about the fact that you're authors and stop downplaying yourself. Get excited about your book. But anyway, so you have to, once your readers, get to know you and love you, they'll become a member of your tribe. And once you build your tribe, they will promote your books for you. They will tell their friends to go and get your book. They will tell their cousins. And then their cousins will tell their cousins. And that's how, your tribe starts to grow. And then finally, the fourth part. Oh, I guess I keep moving and the flowers is losing their little leaf. Stems, Anyway, the fourth part is brand. So what do you stand for in the eyes of your readers? Are you a hot male romance author? Do you write Christian romance? Whatever it is that makes you unique, that's part of your brand. That's why I'm going to talk about branding more. Because if you're a romance writer, everything you do, all your promotions should embrace romance. Like, it should make people just want to be in love every time they look at your stuff. So, you got to really think about what is your message that you're putting out there. So focus on building your platform as an author, and it will determine the success or failure of your career. So like I said, there are 4 components to the author platform. That's your presence. What are you putting out there to let people know that you even exist as an author? It's your relationships. What kind of relationships are you building with people who can further your career? Like, are you connecting with journalists? Are you connecting with PR professionals? Who are you connecting with? Because, sad to say, a lot of people who are, reaching out to promoters to promote their books and stuff on the internet they don't really know about promotion. You're welcome, Lakeitha. A lot of people who are saying I promote books, they're not really promoting your books. They're just sharing your books in a few Facebook groups. That's not really promotion. There's so much more to promotion, and there's so many more arenas that you can explore with promoting your book. So I'm going to share some of those in some other broadcasts in different places your book needs to be seen at. And it's not just on Facebook, because like I said, what if your audience isn't even on Facebook? So you need somebody who knows about different ways to market your book, not just somebody who says, pay me $75 and I'll make sure your book gets posted in Facebook groups. You can post your own book in a Facebook group for free. So you have to look at, when it comes to promoting your book, you have to really look at what is promotion, what's involved with promotion. Because if you don't understand what promotion is, you're going to be one of those people who falls for some of these Facebook group people who just post in groups. Anyway, I'm not going to stay on that too long. So, okay, so the 4 parts to the author platform is your presence, relationships, your tribe, and your brand. You have to focus on building those 4 components, and that is your platform. So, if you have any questions about, putting together your author platform or coming up with a smart marketing strategy for your book, because there is a smart one, and it has a whole lot more to do. It has a lot of components to it than just promoting on Facebook all day long or tweeting or something like that. It's about knowing exactly who you want to talk to. So you can go to SandraNPeoples.com/authors. And I have an application there. You can fill out that application. We can set aside some time to talk and see, what it is that you want to do with your career as an author. And I can help you with that. So, today I just want to talk to you about the 4 components to building the author platform. Hopefully you learned something. If you're watching the replay, share this out to your friends that are fellow authors. And, let's get educated about this arena that we're in, especially if you're self-published, because it's harder for self-published authors because you have to wear all the hats. But I help my authors, the clients that I work with, I help you learn how to do all this stuff without having to look like you're doing it all, without feeling like you're doing it all and getting overwhelmed. But anyway, I hope that you have a beautiful Friday. I am about to get ready to go to a meeting today. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. And have a wonderful, wonderful, awesome day.